Hi folks, John on the Wingman 115 channel. Today we're going to be talking about knives, so stick around. There has been a ton of brand new knife releases from Work Tuff Gear this year. Today we're going to be covering 4 of those knives. And what we're going to do is deep dive into the specs. I'm going to show you up close and personal these 4 blades. At the end of the video, I'm going to want you to comment down below what 2 knife models you would like to see me review here on the channel. And then we'll do some hard use reviews of those top 2 knives. So let's get this started. Today we're going to be overviewing the Predator Hunter. This is a huge blade. The Wilderness Warrior, the Nomad EDC, and the Kalachapi. So, let's get this started. First up, we're going to be talking about the Puzon Predator Hunter. Now, this is the big brother to the Puzon Wilderness Bowie that came out last year. And I must say, this is a huge knife. Now, the knife is a Bowie design, and the overall length of this knife is 19 inches long. That is a lot of steel. And the blade length is 12 inches long. Now, it is made out of SK85, that is a Japanese high carbon steel. I've used that in quite a bit of knives in the reviews that I've done in the past. And SK85 holds up really well. You'll notice that it has a really nice patina. I like how Work Tuff Gear is doing this sort of acid wash patina. I know a lot of folks, when they first get a knife, they really want to do some sort of patina mojo to their blade, and this just looks great. You'll also notice that it has a large finger choil and a finger guard. And I think with a knife this large, you really need something like that. Now, the handle is a little bit more streamlined than the Wilderness Bowie, and I think that's a good thing. I think because of the size of this knife, you're going to be primarily chopping, doing a lot of camp tasks with this, and just going crazy town, splitting wood, cutting limbs off trees, building lean-tos and such. And right up where that finger guard is on the handle, you have a nice cutout where it would make a great pendulum to be able to swing that blade. Now, if you'll look at the back part of the handle, that pommel has a very nice sweep to it. I think for safety, a knife this big needs a pommel like that. When you're chopping and you're swinging that blade, the last thing you want is 19 inches of steel to go flying out of your hand. So I think they did a really good job with the pommel. The handles are made out of G10, and it comes with a Kydex sheath. Now, the Kydex sheath has these nylon strap attachments to it, so you can wear it like over the shoulder on a sling. And I think that's the perfect carry for a knife this big. Let's talk a little bit about the Wilderness Warrior. Now, the designer of this blade is Shannon Hamilton. He's a Canadian knife designer and knife maker. This is a drop point design blade made out of SK85 high carbon steel. That's a Japanese carbon steel. I find that it's been working really good in these knives. I've tested out a few of these blades with that steel. It has a saber grind with a convex cutting edge to it. The overall length of this knife is 12.2 inches long. The blade length is 6.9 inches long with a thickness of 0.196 thick, and the handles are made out of G10. Now, the finish is a non-reflective parkerized finish, and if you notice, the blade has a double fuller blood groove. Now, that's used to lighten the knife and to improve stiffness. What I like about this knife, if you'll notice, is the tip is in center line with the handle, and I like that. That's great for if you're doing bushcraft, campcraft, and if you're making traps, fireboards and such, makes it a lot easier to do. Also has a finger choil on there. I like that for just close, intricate work, and it has a really nice thumb ramp. Also comes with a Kydex sheath. Next up in our lineup is the Nomad EDC. Now, if you follow along on the channel, I showcased earlier in the year the full-size Nomad. That has been a huge success for Work Tuff Gear. This is another design by Zeke. Just great looking blade. And let's do the rundown here real quick. The overall length is 7.75 inches long. The blade length is 3.5 inches long. The steel is a ATS 34. That's a great steel for this blade. The blade thickness is 1/8 of an inch thick. The handles are made out of this beautiful G10. It almost looks like wood. It's just beautiful. And it comes with a Kydex sheath. What I really like about this knife is the handle. The handle fits really well in my hand. You have that awesome thumb ramp, and just the overall design, it just looks like just a bulldog in a small package. Just beautiful looking knife. And this designer is no stranger to the channel. Full disclosure, he's a good friend of mine. He's Andy Tran, the designer of the Tops Tahoma, which has been a huge success over the years. I've showcased that knife many times on my channel. I carried it for years, and I'll leave a link in the video description below to my review on that blade. But this is a new knife for him, and if you'll notice, it looks really similar to the Tahoma. It's like the little brother or companion knife to the Tahoma. Now, this knife is called the Kalachapi, and I asked Andy, how did you get the name for that? And of course, Andy lives up in Washington State, north of Seattle. And for a while, he was a national park law enforcement ranger. He said that he got the name from a location in Mount Rainier, and I thought that was really cool. I just love these names, and I love how he brings that sort of culture into his designs. Now, let's talk a little bit about the blade. This is a drop point design. The overall length is 7 inches long. The blade length is 3.5 inches long. It's made out of SK85 high carbon steel. And like I said earlier, that's a proven steel. That's a Japanese high carbon steel. Just awesome, holds an edge really well. The blade thickness is 3/16 of an inch. And I really like that thickness in a blade, especially this size. Really useful. It's gonna be just super sharp. This has a saber grind with a convex cutting edge, and like I said before, that is a proven grind for Work Tuff Gear. It works out really well. Just right out of the box, these knives are just crazy sharp. Has a splatter finish on there, looks really well. It's kind of muted. A lot of knives, folks don't like that high shine. They like a patina on their blade, and I think that looks really good with this design. Has G10 scales, and it also comes with a Kydex sheath with a uni clip. So you're probably asking yourself, John, what is that hole in the center of the knife? And I'm glad you asked. Well, Andy Tran, in his previous design of the Tops Tahoma, incorporated that into that blade as a way of extracting the projectile out of a rifle round. Whether you're using a .223, a .556, I think even a .30 cal, you could extract a projectile from the brass and to be able to use the gunpowder to start a fire in the event of a survival situation. The thumb ramp is very ergonomic, both on the forward and the aft part of that ramp. It just feels really good in the hand. And as with Andy's designs, he puts a lot of thought process into the handles. And as a knife designer myself, I can say that the handle is 95% of the knife. If it doesn't feel good in your hand, then you're just not going to use the blade. And Andy has done it again. This knife feels really good in the hand, and it's very functional. So this is a great opportunity to let your voice be heard. What is it going to be? Pick 2 of your favorite out of the 4, and I will do a review on those 2. Is it the Predator? Is it the Wilderness Warrior? The Nomad EDC? Or the Kalachapi? All great knives in their own right, and they all have different features and function. That's what I love about these designs. Just awesome. So let your voice be heard. Leave a comment. I'll leave links in the video description below how to find out more about these blades. Folks, that's a wrap. I'll see you on the next video. Take care, folks.